Hey everybody, welcome back to the Criddle-Weber Racing channel. We were able to get the camera issue somewhat sorted out. As you can see, we were able to get the screen wider so you have a better view. But unfortunately, we think the camera got bumped once or twice, so the view might not look the best at all the times, but you should still be able to see the cars going down the track. Nicole's getting ready here to do her first qualifying burnout, and we said we were going to go down the track in 15 seconds.
Hey guys, it's Nicole. So as Colin stated earlier, we did dial in at a 15-second flat. I ended up running a 14.79, so quite a bit faster than we thought. My reaction time was a 0.24, so not the best, but my opponent had a 0.66, so quicker than him, and that's all we need. As we stated in the previous video, we do look at the current weather conditions and try to find a previous run that is similar. We then try to base our dial-in close to what the dial-in of that previous run was. And in this instance, we were quicker, but that is what qualifying rounds are for. So we will reevaluate and adjust and move on for the second round of qualifying.
So after that first kind of shocker of a qualifying run, we were very surprised at how much quicker we ran than we thought we were going to. So when we went back and reevaluated and adjusted our time, we weren't really sure why it was so much faster. It could have been a fluke for the car in those weather conditions. It also could have been that Nicole staged the car a little bit deep when she was getting ready to race. Nicole can speak about staging and what staging shallow and deep means. But after we reevaluated and looked at the weather for our second qualifier here, we ended up dialing in at a 14.92 seconds.
So we did dial in at a 14.92 and ended up running a 14.96. So much closer to our dial-in and proves that reviewing previous run data, including weather, is paying off. My reaction time was a 0.34, so again, not too great, but reaction time is not as crucial in qualifying rounds as it is in the eliminations. So when Colin mentioned staging earlier, what he means is that after my burnout, there are two yellow lights at the top of the tree. And I know you guys cannot see the tree based on technical difficulties, but the first light is the pre-stage light and the second is the stage light. And after the burnout, both cars are supposed to pre-stage, which then turns on the top yellow light. And after I am pre-staged, I preload the car by pressing the gas to bring the engine to 1,000 RPMs. I then let the car creep forward until the second or the staging light comes on, meaning my car is at the starting line and I am ready. After both cars are staged, this means the tree is about to drop and the race will begin. So we did end up qualifying 7th out of 14 cars, and eliminations are next.
So we were supposed to have 3 qualifiers on this day. Unfortunately, during one of the qualifiers, somebody did spill a bunch of oil on the track. So it took the crew about an hour, maybe even closer to an hour and a half to get that oil cleaned up, make sure the track was dry, and put more rubber down for the tires to grip onto. So after our 2 rounds of qualifying there, we did go into eliminations. In our first elimination here, we were up against a black Corvette, and we dialed in at a 15-second flat. So we did dial in at a 15 flat, ended up running a 15.05, which is great on our part. As you did see that my opponent did reach the finish line quicker than I did, but unfortunately for him, he did leave the starting line sooner than he was supposed to. So that resulted in a red light and ended up in a win for us, and we were able to advance to the next round. So we were very close to our dial-in there in the first round, only 0.05 of a second off, and thanks to our opponent red lighting, we got pushed into the second round here. Fortunately for us, the weather really didn't change very much the rest of the day, so we actually kept the same dial-in the rest of the day, and we went with another 15 seconds flat here in our second round. So 15 was our lucky number on this day. We did dial in at a 15 flat, ended up running a 15.01, which is pretty much perfect. So my opponent did end up breaking out, which means that he ran faster than he said he was going to. So that is an automatic loss on his part, and therefore advancing us to the third round. So after running almost exactly on our dial-in, I mean, you really can't ask for too much better than that. It got us into the semifinal round here, or the third round. The weather also, again, didn't change hardly at all, like I said, for pretty much the rest of the day. So we did dial in again at another 15 seconds.
at a 15 flat once again, ended up running a 15.03, which is fantastic. My opponent did end up breaking out by 0.01, so just barely. But unfortunately for him, that means he is disqualified, and I am moving on to the final round.
As Nicole said at the end of the last round, winning moved us into the championship round for this day. And again, the weather really didn't change at all for the day, and 15 was our lucky number so far, so that's what we put our dial in at for the championship round.
We did dial in at a 15 flat and ended up running a 15.12, which is fairly slower than our previous runs. My opponent ended up treeing me, meaning she had a much better reaction time than I did, and that's really what the race came down to. So we did end up losing the championship, but pretty cool that it was an all-women's final. So we did end up getting second out of 14, and you will all see the trophy at the end of this video in a few moments.